It was only a matter of time, I think, before United were going to be strongly linked to Gareth Bale. He made it very clear that, you know, he was ready to consider his future if he didn't get more playing time. And I think you have to look beyond that and say, you know, what does preparing a bid actually mean? My understanding is obviously his agent, Jonathan Barnett, has been in touch with the relevant people. The difficulty is, of course, there's very few clubs in the world that can afford Gareth Bale. He's 28 years old. He has a long-term contract. He earns in excess of $30 million a year. And United are one of the very few clubs that can match that. I think it would be mad for United not to make an inquiry. Now, from there to saying this is going to go ahead, 100 million euros is a huge amount of money, even for a club like Manchester United. You've got issues, obviously, with Alexis Sanchez. One of the two would have to switch flanks. And certainly Mourinho, thus far, has prioritized the defense. And you kind of wonder, one of the reasons that Bale is looking to move on is that, you know, there's been some suggestion in Madrid that, you know, he doesn't want to track back and do the defending. He wants to focus and be fresh on the attacking front. One thing you know about Mourinho's team, you need to track back and work hard off the ball.
Well, Craig, I know we spoke a little bit about this yesterday, and you were pretty adamant that Bale should probably stay at Real Madrid, you know, for next season. But does this transfer make sense for Jose Mourinho?
Well, I'm not adamant he should stay for next season. I'm adamant he should see what they do in terms of appointing a new manager and then take it from there. Clearly, if the situation had continued under Zinedine Zidane, who's no longer there, then he would have to look to be leaving because his game time was limited. And as Gab said, at 28, he's way better than that, and he's wasting himself to some extent. But since the managerial situation has changed, then in my opinion, his mindset and his strategy should change in the next few weeks.
So does this kind of a transfer make sense for Mourinho?
What?
Gareth Bale at Man United?
Gareth Bale makes sense for most clubs.
Anybody. Yeah.
So you know, whether it was Jose Mourinho or anybody, it makes sense. It makes sense for most clubs when he's fit.
Stevie?
You know, we've always spoken about Gareth Bale going to Manchester United, and the question has always been the same one. Considering the way Mourinho plays, considering Mourinho would want him to defend, would Gareth Bale want to go to Manchester United? You know, if Sarri, for example, was the manager of Manchester United, this whole thing would be an awful lot easier. I'm with Craig, though. The fact that Zidane is gone, I don't see any way that Bale goes. And by the way, if he does go, it's going to be a lot more than 100 million.
Where do I begin? From the owner to the manager to some players, it seems like there's just absolute turmoil. Just how serious is this situation?
Well, I think there's one thing that trumps everything else right now, and that is the situation with the owner, Roman Abramovich. Because, you know, frankly, I always had the impression the issue of tension with the players had been overplayed. It's only a couple of them. They're at the World Cup anyway. And the issue with the manager, look, worst comes to worst, they have a manager. His name is Antonio Conte. He just won the FA Cup, and he won the league the year before. So I think from the club's perspective, if the scenario happens where Conte is still around, it may not be ideal, but I think they'd rather do that than go and pay him off or go and make a rush decision for what could be the wrong guy. But the issue with Abramovich is pretty serious because he has not had his British investor visa renewed thus far. That could change in the future. And there are implications for it. It limits the amount of time that he can spend here in England. He does have an Israeli passport as well, but technically it's not a business, it's not a residence or a work visa, of course. He can just come in. And Chelsea, of course, have announced that they're putting their stadium expansion plans on hold. That would have been an investment of near to $1 billion. Now, they say it's the current business climate and Brexit and whatever else that's not favorable. But you can't help but taking a step back and saying, well, wait a minute. If I'm Abramovich, you know, you're happy to take my money and all my investment in the country, but you won't let me come and live and work there. Why should I continue chucking money in?
Welcome into Extra Time on this fine Saturday.
What's that about? Show business.
Because this is a show.
Show business.
Well, you know me, and I'm here with Stevie and Craig. Gab Marcotti is also with us. Are we ready to get into these questions?
She does that. That's the only time she doesn't take a selfie.
Oh, whatever.
hands
I
are
took one
here.
before the show. Craig kind of likes our selfies. Look out for my one on
I don't
Twitter
like
now.
them. I don't like seeing
Craig's
selfies
actually smiling in
on
it.
social media
Which-
500 times a day.
Craig, you've given up Twitter, haven't you?
No, I'm on Twitter.
No, but you've given up
I'm not
posting.
tweeting.
It's been
I'm
a
not tweeting.
while.
I can't be bothered.
Ever again?
Well, I don't know, but I like to get my news. But I'm not tweeting. I can't be bothered tweeting. I just can't be bothered. Some people have got no life, do it all the time. You know, start talking about football every day. every waking minute talking about teams and football and the national team and the World Cup and all. I'm like, oh my God, get a life. Just get a life. Go
Are you
on.
talking about Gab Marcotti?
No.
Oh. All right, well,
I'm not talking about Gab.
Let's get, speaking of Twitter, let's get into our questions that people have sent. This one's from Amit. He wants to know, with the inclusion of VAR in the World Cup, how will it affect the game?
Well, if it's anything to do with the recent trials and tribulations in Major League Soccer,
Trials and
it could be
tribulations.
very interesting. I think there's going to be a lot of debate had over decisions with VAR because it's been shown already. It's not as simplistic as maybe some had hoped at the start. It's very, yeah, it's been a little troublesome. But I think it's going to work on a lot of decisions. But then I think we will have somewhere.
Yeah, there's going to be some catastrophes.
That's
Because
not
even the leagues that are using it are having trouble getting things right and doing it in a timely manner. So there's going to be referees who are not used to it who are at the World Cup. I mean, there could be some long pauses, shall we
Sounds
say,
like they'll be the ones
during
making all the
game.
headlines instead of the actual game
But
itself. Gab,
if they get the decisions right, though,
Wait.
it'll be worth it.
Gab, what do you think?
Hey, Alexis, is it okay if I name drop?
Name drop, Gab, of course.
So on my way back from Kiev, I was at the airport. I was in the lounge with Stuart Robson.
Is the name McDonald's?
Oh.
No, and it's not Robson either. No, there was another bald man or shaven-headed man in the lounge, and that was one Luigi Collina. No, I just told you, Collina. Yul Brynner, I think, passed away a few years ago.
Yul Brynner's passed away.
Anyway.
Oh, jeez.
Stevie just.
Is it a Yul Brynner lookalike?
It could very well, maybe.
Oh, Stevie doesn't know what to say now.
A little bit.
Awkward.
What, Mark Donaldson?
Guys, we digress. Let Gab make his point.
Go on.
I was going to take a selfie, Alexis, with Collina because I know you appreciate those, but
I do.
I didn't have my stick with me. So instead, we talked about VAR at the World Cup, and look, he's obviously not going to talk it down, but he did make a few interesting points which I wasn't aware of. They've had 6 different VAR specific training camps for referees ahead of this World Cup. Normally they only have 2, and I think the main thing is that a lot of the complaints that we've had about VAR, which is, it robs us of the spontaneity of a goal celebration, and most of all, it disrupts the flow of the game. I think the general thinking is that that's going to be less of an issue at this World Cup because the stakes are higher in a World Cup. People still talk about refereeing decisions from decades ago, which you tend not to do when it's a random FA Cup game or indeed a mid-table league clash. So as long as they get things right, and if there's a major refereeing blunder that's corrected by VAR, then that's going to go some ways, I think he hopes, to getting people on board with this. But yeah, obviously there's going to be teething problems, as you'd expect, mostly to do with the threshold of when VAR can intervene and when to let it slide.
I tell you what, that sounds like a great trip back from Kiev. You've got Stuart Robson talking about the merits of a back 3 over a back 4 and how the wing backs can get forward, and you got Gab for a 5-hour flight from Kiev talking about VAR. If that's not enough to open the plane door and jump out at 25,000 feet, I don't know what is.
Tell you what, I hope they...
Actually, Craig, if I can point out, you would have been safe because Stuart was in business class, as I'm sure you would have been.
Exactly.
I was all the way in the back of the plane, so we couldn't hear each other.
And he never moved for you? If I would have been travelling with you, Gab, I'd have said, no, I'm not going business, I'm a team player, I'll go back there and listen to VAR for 5 hours. The best thing.
Let's just hope VAR, they can do it.
Because you're a
quicker
good
during
friend,
the
unlike
game.
Stuart.
Yes. than what Gab took to take us to tell us what they were going to do.
All right, let's move on to the next question, shall we?
The whole consensus is there will be some issues.
It'll be a shamble.
We're not looking forward to, but whatever. It's part of the game, I suppose. Now, Udan Patel wants to know, should Ter Stegen start for Germany instead of Manuel Neuer? We saw Neuer back in action today, finally for Germany in that friendly. Was it enough to guarantee a start for him?
What's the tester? Ter Stegen's had a great season.
That's a good question. When it would go down to the fitness of Neuer probably, and then just a decision. I don't think Jogi Löw would be frightened to make that decision.
No, and if he does play Ter Stegen, he's had a fantastic season.
Yeah.
You know, that Barcelona side, start of the year, everybody was wondering what they were going to be like, and they didn't start particularly brilliantly, but he did.
I mean, I think there's plenty of managers out there that would love to be able to choose between two goalkeepers of that quality.
What will happen is the goalkeeper coach is going to be hugely involved in it, because I would imagine he'll be the one he'll tip the balance either way. Because if he turns around and says Neuer is as good as he's always been, then I guess you play Neuer.
Well,
we're a goalkeeping coach we've got, I'm not going to mention names, but we're a goalkeeping coach who I worked with, and Stevie probably worked with in his time there, I would imagine. And he had two goalies, we had two goalies at the time that were very, very good. I mean, top drawer goalies. But he was friends with one of them over the other one. And it was a 50-50 split between these two keepers, but the goalkeeper coach's friend played 75% of the games over the other one.
And the thing is the manager, that's the reason why you have the goalie coach.
So you have to listen to them.
You can't do everything, you've got to listen to him. And that's why he'll be huge and who starts for Germany, whether it's Ter Stegen or Neuer.
Well, luckily, it's not that long before we find out the answer to that one. What about
I have
to
to
this
say,
one
I'm not
now?
going to be losing any sleep over it. I
don't think Germany's losing much sleep over that either.
It's not a bad decision he has.
Exactly. Reese wants to know, Emre Can has demonstrated that he has all the tools required of a top box-to-box midfielder. Lost for Liverpool, but he will bloom at Juve as a starter. Thoughts? He, of course, has agreed a deal to join.
Yes, he is a loss. And yes, I think he'll do well for Juventus. But you know what? Liverpool have got two players coming in to replace him that are as good as, if not better, in Keita particularly, and Fabinho. So, yeah, I'm sure he will do well.
But you're not losing sleep.
It's a loss to Liverpool's squad depth, that's for sure. But I like the two guys that have come in.
Dylan wants to know, is the draw against Colombia enough to prove to Stevie Nicol that Egypt is competitive even without Salah?
Friendly.
Well, Colombia haven't been great.
They haven't turned it on yet. But Stevie, you're a fan of Colombia. You say that Colombia can beat anybody on their day.
Yeah, they could. I don't think I'm saying anything that millions of other people haven't already said. Without Salah, that's a huge chunk of Egypt's firepower gone.
But at least they got a draw now against a top team in your eyes. So is that enough?
It's a friendly. Germany got beat by Austria, but yet we still know that they're going to be in at least the semis, right? Of the World Cup.
If Colombia are that good, you'd almost expect them to put 4 or 5 past them.
You're not really listening to what I'm saying, are you?
I'm just trying to be facetious.
You know that word friendly?
I'm being facetious here, Stevie. I'm trying to stick up for Dylan. And, what would our...
Tell you what, for the size of LeBron James, the way he gets around is absolutely unbelievable.
What size is he?
He's huge. Have you seen his
But
shoulders?
most basketball players are.
Like Jordan's a
Can you put a number on it? We're just saying
It's
he's
not like
huge.
shoes, you know what I mean? Not a size 10,
Let's not
like a
speculate.
hat.
If we want
like
a
yourself,
sensible
size
answer, if we want a
120.
sensible answer, let's go to Gab. Gab, who's it for you? LeBron James or Michael Jordan?
Well, I'd let my heart speak and say Allen Iverson, but then you'd complain that that's not a sensible answer.
Me, not me. I said let's
I'm gonna
get a
lean
sensible answer
Jordan.
from you.
I'm going to lean Jordan simply because of his record in the finals. But if LeBron comes and signs for my Sixers next year, then I may well give you a different answer.
Larry Bird.
Yeah, there you
So
go.
who'd you
Larry
guys have?
Bird.
Who'd
You don't even know what I'm talking about. Larry Bird.
Larry Bird, I know Larry Bird.
Who did he play for?
I wasn't that, but I know of who he is.
Who did Larry Bird play for?
Boston.
Correct.
Boston Celtics.
You did you
Yeah,
know, by
right.
the way. I wasn't expecting that either.
No.
I like
Do you know why?
Michael
Do you know
Jordan
why?
as a
Because
space
somebody
cat.
told
Somebody
her.
told her.
Somebody told her in her ear.
Yes, thank
I
you.
like-
Pete told you.
That's who I grew
Because you
up
had
with.
absolutely
Our
no
producer
idea.
has no voice right now because
Yeah,
he's tired
right.
of screaming at you two, because Lord knows I am as well. If we have a look at the odds to win the 2018 FIFA World Cup, Germany, no surprise, are second favorites behind Brazil. But the real question is, this is their 5th international friendly that they have gone winless, gentlemen. Should we be worried?
No.
No.
No. Do you know what
Not.
friendlies mean? Absolutely nothing. Middle of the
It's
donut.
the 5th one.
Middle of the donut. This is a country, Germany, that when push comes to shove, when it comes to the crunch on the big occasions, so many times they get it done. They get the business done when they need it. Now, is it ideal losing friendly games or not? You know, whatever when they have quite a strong team out. No, it's not. But I wouldn't be concerned. Not at all.
Not at all. Zero.
For the same reason, Chris
Listen,
said.
they've made so many changes in these friendlies you're talking
Yeah.
about that they won't be bothered either. And the fact the group they're in, they're so far ahead of everybody else in the group. Craig's right. When it matters most, Germans tell
Do you
me.
know if Germany had won this few of these friendlies and beaten Austria today? Because Austria are not a great team. I mean, Austria are not a great side. They had a great qualification for the Euros and then they went down there and they absolutely imploded. They're workmanlike. But had Germany beat them by 4 or 5, we wouldn't have been sitting here going, oh, that's it, the World Cup is over. We'd have been saying, look, that's what we expected. Germany will be absolutely on the ball once they get to Russia.
All right, let's go to Gab. Gab, what do you think? Because like I said, I know friendlies are friendlies, but it's 5 of them now that they've gone without a win. So are you even worried just a little bit?
Well, me worried about Germany not being good? Why? I'm terrified of that idea. No, look, I am an Italy fan after all. Look, I think Germany's are valuable for what the managers see, more so than for the result. And if you're talking about 5 friendlies over a period of time, that's less important. I think what matters is they're out there. They're working hard. He's looking at different combinations. They're also probably doing a different type of physical preparation as well. Probably heavier workloads, trying to top up ahead of the World Cup. Whereas the Austrian players after this game are going on holiday. So no, I wouldn't put much weight on this at all.
Alrighty, well, let's just remind you what group Germany are in less than 2 weeks when they go in action in the 2018 FIFA World Cup. They're in Group F along with Mexico, Sweden, and South Korea. And no surprise that the SPI favors them to easily get out of the group and advance to the round of 16. So if we have a look at the England team now, I would say that Gareth Southgate has pretty much found his set team with the players that we saw today. Say for 1 or 2 changes, would you gentlemen agree?
If that is indeed his team, then they're not going to be winning the World Cup. Listen,
I don't think many expected England to win in the first place.
Listen, you can say they've got talent. Kane, Sterling and Dele Alli and Lingard going forward are quite exciting. But everything behind that, I mean, look at the back three. Cahill is past his best for sure. Stones you can't rely on.
He scored a goal today.
Jordan Pickford in goals has had a tough season with Everton. The other choices are Pope, who's a novice at this level, and Jack Butland, whose team got relegated. So going forward, they could be exciting. But what's going on in the middle of the park and defensively and in net?
Well, I'd make 2 changes to that team straight away without changing any players. I'd move Trippier and Ashley Young back into proper positions for starters, because Trippier is a right back and Ashley Young's a left back. The one thing they could do is they could bring Maguire in, for Gary Cahill, but that'll give him 3 centre-backs that want it. And that's the way he wants to play, with 3 centre-backs, because it allows him to get the wing-backs forward, and it allows him to play maybe with Sterling around Harry Kane. But if you put Maguire, Stones and Walker, who's going to play a right-sided centre-back, that's 3 guys that like to come out with the ball. And Harry Maguire, we've seen him for Leicester, he likes to maraud forward with the ball, so does John Stones. 3 centre-halves that want to do that could leave them exposed. The other thing is Henderson coming in for Eric Dyer, but I'm with Stevie here. I've seen some very good England teams over the years that haven't achieved anything, and this is a not very good England team that ain't going to achieve anything.
Ooh, a bunch of Debbie Downers here. Gav, what about you? What do you make of this England team? Is it as dire as these two are making it look?
I mean, look, I think compared to past England teams, there's an obvious talent gap. I'd also question personally this, playing 3 at the back. It seems like a way of putting more centre backs on when it's a position where you really don't have that much depth. But what I would say, and this is slightly different, as somebody who lives in England, Gareth Southgate, thus far anyway, is pretty much winning the PR war. He's been very open. He's had a ton of support. He's saying the right things. You don't have any of this like, yeah, well, we're going to go there and come back with a World Cup. Everybody's very humble. Everybody's talking about a process. And that kind of puts a good vibe around the team. And who knows? In the past, we've seen them crumble under pressure. Maybe this means that there's less pressure. And, maybe this means that they can go on a run.
Now, if we're talking about top awards in the world to win, I think that the PR award is right up there, guys. What do you make of Gareth Southgate winning this? Because I think he should be absolutely thrilled.
Listen, any one of us could come out with what Gareth Southgate's coming out with. They absolutely breezed through the qualifying, yes. And
so same old.
And friendlies don't matter. And we have a saying in football, pre-season, everybody's fantastic. Everybody's got a chance of winning the league. But unfortunately, we actually have to play the games. So Gareth Southgate can come out with all the cliches, all the classics, say all the right things. But see, once that first ball's kicked and that whistle goes, let's see how he does then.
No, he's a lovely guy, Gareth.
I have to get Craig's opinion on this.
No, he's a lovely. I know Gareth. He's a lovely guy, very approachable, handles himself well, speaks well, and that is perfect for those people, particularly at the FA, that like less drama from the managerial position. And Gareth handles himself great, and he's done what he's asked to be done so far in the job. And let's be honest, there's been a lot of people paid a lot more money, and they've made a pig's ear of it as well, for probably 5 or 6 million a year plus. As Stevie said, at the end of the day, it will matter not a jot until they get to the World Cup, until they start seeing performances, but more importantly, results. So all the words now and all the talk will go out the window if England go there and don't perform. Let's not forget, in 2014, they finished bottom of a group that included Italy, and Costa Rica won it. England can ill afford something similar.
If we look at Belgium's starting 11 against Portugal, all I have to say is wow, talent straight from front to back.
Is there anything else we can say about this team that hasn't been said for the last, 4 years, maybe longer? And guess what? The one thing they haven't done is produce when it's mattered.
Is this your difference?
Well,
I mean, you look at...
I mean, they had a new manager. They had a managerial change, which seems to look a lot more positive than before. But
well, the problems before was they couldn't defend, and Martinez, as good a coach as he is going forward, doesn't have a reputation for sorting out the defence either. So, listen, this team has a lot of questions to answer. Yes, it's got talent. It's got talent all over the shop, but can they put it together? That's the question that we need answered, because we certainly can't. We've said so many good things about this team, but they haven't produced.
When you're leaving players like Nainggolan out of the squad, now I know it's more than a football decision. There's also some discord, I believe, that Martinez thinks he might bring to the camp. But when you're leaving players like that out, who have had a great season in Italy, then you need to make sure the ones that you're taking are going to perform for you. Otherwise, you're going to get a backlash.